All right, we have options.
We
Oh, I
do.
like that hat. That's nice. We're going to test out this lens here. It's the Yongnuo 35mm 1.8. And I'm running the A6700 with the Yongnuo 35mm 1.8. Compare it to the Sony 35mm 1.4 G Master, which is not even a fair fight. But we're going to compare the budget option. What do you get with that, and how far do you get with it compared to the best? So. All right, guys, so someone sent me a lens. It was Yongnuo. I'm going to put it up here, see if I can get a little bit of focus on that. The 35mm 1.8 crop sensor, APS-C, and I'm using the Sony E version. It does have a programmable button on it and AF/MF switch. Looks like maybe it's programmable, has a 1 and a 2 on there. It also comes with a little hood on it, obviously the lens caps. It is all plastic, so I'm going to compare it, not even a fair fight, to the Sony G Master. It's got the aperture ring, the programmable button, the proper lens hood, the AM/MF, and the actual lens cap that I don't even have on correctly right now. So it shouldn't even be a fair fight. Now, this is a 1.4 lens, the Sony, and a full frame lens. It's the only other 35 I had. I figured, hey, if we're going to make a comparison, let's compare the budget, about as budget as you can go for just over $100, maybe $129, to the G Master 35, okay? And you would think between these two lenses, given the price difference, the build quality, Sony's just a hefty lens. You can tell you got some glass in there, right? You would think there would be a huge difference in photo quality. I think you're going to be surprised, so stick around and let's take a look. All right, right out of the gate, in case you're wondering, for video autofocus, it is quiet. I didn't notice any noise, and it does keep focus. We did a test here with Alana in low light with her eyes shaded, and it had no trouble keeping up. No doubt benefiting greatly from that AI autofocus system in the A6700, passing with flying colors. I already see a photo op right there where the light is hitting that tree, leaning against the tree, and then we have this fence over here where the light is hitting. To go out in the grass over there, we haven't even gotten into the park yet. And then straight ahead, there's the little bridge, similar to what you sent me in the inspo. So,
What are we thinking?
Let's start with the hat.
Hat? Okay.
Yeah. All right, so I am at f1.8, ISO 125. So I'm gonna have you remember your light source is this way, so you don't have to see you got the hat on, so you're not gonna be blinding yourself. And remember, you can use the tree and even that branch going up to hold on to or do something with your hands, and then you can also lean against the tree as well if you want to. So, and it's finding the face pretty well right now, because she has her eyes shaded, so it's having a little bit of trouble finding that eye but it's hitting it. And then lift your chin up a little bit, just so I can get a little bit of your eyes, a little bit more. There you go. So now it's finding the eye. And I'm gonna come in for a close-up shot. Oh, nice, I like that. Look over to your right. It's really not having any trouble finding the eye or the face. Let's stay there, and I'm gonna switch the lens real quick. So same type of poses. You can vary it up a little bit. I'm gonna do the same angle. You can look over there to your left like you were. So the Sony is definitely finding the eye a little bit better. It is jumping back and forth to face and eye, just like the Yongnuo was, though. And look over this way for me. Yep. Maybe you can hold on to the dress a little bit, maybe kind of, exactly. Nice. Perfect. I'm going to come in a little bit tighter. I would say the autofocus is just a little bit snappier. All right, looking at this side-by-side comparison, can you honestly tell one is massively better than the other? What are your thoughts? Let's take a closer look in Evoto AI. So this one, we'll take a look at that one, and then there's this one. I mean, the color rendering maybe a tiny bit warmer on the other one. On this one is just barely of anything. I mean, they're almost identical as far as color rendering. Let's zoom into the second one. Pretty darn sharp photo. Just pixel peeping. We'll go to this one. and maybe a little bit softer in this particular shot. But look, I mean, her eyes are in the shadows, so that could have been part of it as well. So this is the Yongnuo right here, and this one is the Sony is this one. Clearly a lot sharper in this particular instance, but later on you'll see really they're both pretty sharp. Okay, so let's have you lean against the fence here. Now, I may take you down closer to the shade down there, but just want to see how the light's hitting you when you're here. So with the Sony, yeah, I like that. And then turn your chin a little bit to chin up a little bit. There we go. And then look that way for me. I wanted to see what the light looks like. Switch out real quickly. And we'll do some of the same type of shots. You can change it up just a little bit. Yeah, nice and snappy autofocus. It's good. And then turn that, yeah, perfect. Chin up a little bit for me. Perfect, good. Love it. Beautiful. Again, we're in aperture priority. If you know, you know. Awesome. Perfect. All right. All right, so what do you think about these two? Can you actually tell a difference? Let's take a closer look. Okay, let's take a look at the first shot here. Really nice shot. This is edited. I'll show you the before. There's a before. You can see I did some color grading, lifted the shadows and did some color grading. The client, Lana, she wanted more of these tones here, less green and more fall type tones. So that's what I gave her. Was able to lift the shadows quite a bit and got this really nice shot here. Came out nice. I mean, I have no complaints. Let's zoom in. This was a full length shot. Now immediately I noticed fringing right here, purple fringing on the top of the dress there and around the hat right here. If you're zooming in, you can see that purple fringing. This is the Sony. If you might have thought maybe it was the Yongnuo. No, this is the Sony. Easily fix the fringing in post editing, but zooming in a little bit soft maybe on the eyes. Could have been me, you know. Could have been the camera operator. I wasn't as still as I could have been, because the 35 1.4 is a sharp lens, make no mistake. So that definitely could have been me. So let's go to the Yongnuo and pose aside. It's definitely a better pose and a more interesting shot, but let's put that aside and just look at the quality of the photo. Equally as good in my book. If we zoom in, the camera operator did a good job and we have a sharp photo. Even zoomed in, it's pretty sharp, right? But we do have this pronounced, a little more pronounced fringing in the Yongnuo. You can see it on the edges of the arm here, on the dress right here, and on the hat. The Sony had it as well. Maybe it's a little bit more with the Yongnuo. Other than that, the Yongnuo beat it in sharpness, which I said could have been operator. So I would give them, you know, maybe if anything, a tie here, maybe a little bit of edge to the Yongnuo because it took a sharper picture. So we could shoot a little bit backlit. Okay. There's a little part here that kind of raises up. You can even do this, and you've got this you can grab onto or do whatever you want, right? Ooh, that's nice. 35. I've got her nicely in the shade and it looks really nice. So we'll see how it is shooting directly into the sun. I'm getting, obviously losing some contrast, but ooh, that's nice. f1.8, we're at 1/2500 on the shutter. Beautiful. Nice backlit shots. So with the Yongnuo now, no problem shooting into the sun. It's still focusing perfectly. I'm gonna come up here where we're shooting directly into the sun, which I usually would not do. Lost focus there for a second. It's finding her pretty good though. It's having trouble now shooting directly into the sun. So this is a tough shot, shooting directly into the sun. And I'm gonna put my hand over to kind of help with so I think I need to change my angle. I'm definitely gonna get fleas. If you can pull it in closer to you. Yeah. Yeah, if you can just bring it in closer to you, you can look up at it. So we are shooting into the sun, no problem grabbing the eye. We'll see how the contrast is later. Perfect. Okay, stay there. We're at 1/2500. You have the lens hood for this. I don't think the Yongnuo had one unless I left it in the box. So that helps. Perfect. With the Sony, we'll switch off to the Yongnuo here in a minute. Maybe do like a little running kind of thing. And you only have to run maybe to right here, okay? And I'm just gonna see how well it tracks you. And ready, action. Ready, action. Didn't have any problem, it didn't look like, so we'll see in the final shots. All right, heading to, we have like a few minutes left, 10, 15 minutes, and we're gonna walk towards the creek over here and get some, that's the main attraction, I'd say, of this park probably.
Absolutely. I was even thinking that one log that is fallen over the water.
Yeah.
I was totally up for even climbing on that too.
We'll have to see if it's still there because, you know, we had all that flooding. All right. I'm just glad to be in the shade. All right.
Me too.
All right, so we are in Texas and out in the country. Horses just tend to happen sometimes. So the ladies on these horses, they were so kind enough to let us take some shots on one of the horses. So let's check it out. So now I'm in manual mode. And maybe if we can, is it possible to turn this way a little bit? Like this? Yeah, just like that. So we're kind of at a 45 degree, yeah. All right, so he likes that. Yes, perfect. All right, guys, what did you think of the Yongnuo? I felt like it held its own very well with a few slight limitations that I really wasn't surprised about. Frankly, shooting in harsh conditions and low light, it was kind of expected. So the fringing was pretty bad, actually, but you know, we still got fringing with the Sony, just more controlled, right? The autofocusing was quiet, either in stills or video. It was super quiet, no noise at all. I didn't notice any noise from the focus motors. And no trouble autofocusing in photo or video, except with the photo, I noticed some trouble in the low light conditions. So you're just going to want to make sure that you know what the limitations of this lens are. If I was on a budget, I would have no trouble recommending this lens to somebody. I think it's great. Just be aware of certain limitations. Other than that, let me know what you guys thought in the comments. And thank you for watching. Again, I appreciate it. Give it a like, give it a subscribe if you like this kind of content, and have a good one.